My name is Nick Brown, founder of Cooking Physics, and I help professional chefs become inspirational leaders by focusing on their passion, their profession, and their personal development. Welcome. Okay, so if you're still here, if you're still coming and checking this out, I congratulate you because we are on rule number 4. Maintain a clean and organized area. So let's go through and let's talk about what this means. So my name is Nick Brown, and I'm the founder of Cooking Physics. And through my years, I have developed and kind of understood these new rules that are going to help you to become the best chef and the best person that you possibly can. So these are rules that are geared and are structured in the sense of a chef, in the sense of the culinary industry, using the terms that I hope that people still understand. And as a chef, you fully understand what these entail, but I'm going to apply them not only within the kitchen, but within your life. And so rule number 4 is all about maintaining a clean and organized area. Now, if you've worked in the kitchen, one of the first rules that you learn before, as well as like the mise en place that we've talked about, as well as tasting everything, is the rule of clean as you go. What does that mean? The whole point of that is that you are maintaining a clean and organized area, and as you are working, you are cleaning as you're going. So that way everything stays clean, everything stays organized, you know where things are at, and you don't create hazards that can get people hurt or even killed. Because as you're working, messes are going to happen. It's inevitable, okay? As you're working, oil's going to spill on the floor. You're going to drop something. As you're cooking and dicing and scooting it over into a pile, something's going to fall onto the floor. You know, you're creating messes all the time. And the important thing is that if you create those messes, you quickly clean it up, okay? Messes like stuff that's on the floor become a very high slip hazard. I can't tell you how many times I have stepped on like a cucumber peel, and all of a sudden my feet just go out from under me and I'm down, okay? Or, you know, a piece of lettuce that's just sitting on the floor. We wear non-slick shoes, okay? Anti-slip shoes, and that helps with the oil and the grease. But if there's that nice layer of, you know, that cucumber peel, the piece of lettuce, the radish, the tomato peel, it doesn't matter what kind of shoes you're wearing, it's going to slide. Okay, so you need to always be cleaning up as you go. The other thing is you need to clean up, because if something falls on the floor and you step on it, maybe you don't slip, but now you're going to be trampling that all over the place. Imagine stepping in dog poop and then just walking all over the place. I can tell you that's happened a lot of times, especially when it comes to chocolate. If somebody drops some chocolate on the floor and steps on it and boom, 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 you've got a freaking chocolate line. Oh, it's horrible. Okay. Another part of cleaning as you go is as you're working on the line, it's very easily to start to build a mess, because you're working with so many things and you're pulling all of these things from all of these different locations into the central location so that you can sit there and plate, or that you can, dish out things, saute and everything like that. So you pull everything into the central location. And if you just kind of start and you just kind of leave it there, all of a sudden your workspace becomes cluttered. You can't work very quickly. You can't work very hard. It's very difficult for you to really be able to function at the optimal pace and as fast as you possibly can, because you've just got this mess, this clutter, okay? So as you're working, if you're working on the line and you grab something, you go ahead and use it, but put it back to where it's supposed to be, okay? Put things back, put things away. Make sure that you're cleaning up. Wipe your counter, because Like I said about the food safe about safety, and you could get somebody hurt or could possibly kill somebody. If you're not cleaning up as you're going, there's something called cross contamination. And if you're not wiping down your cutting board, if you're not wiping down your plating station, if you're not washing your hands, okay, on a consistent basis, you can then cross contaminate and you can turn something that is supposed to be healthy for somebody. And if they have an allergy, you could you could make them have an allergic reaction, and that could lead to death. Okay. Not only that, but if you're working with raw meats and you're not being clean as you're going, those raw meats and the bacteria and the pathogens that are in there, they can make it into other foods that don't get cooked. That cross contamination, you could get people sick and you could kill people. This concept of cleaning as you go, maintaining a clean and organized work area, is all about safety. It's all about being able to, for you, to be focused on what's going on. I talked about the mise en place, having everything ready, okay, and being able to focus 100% on what's going on. If you start to create that mess, you're going to have to stop what you're doing and spend time to clean up a large mess, whereas all it would have taken before is just to put it away or to grab your sandy bucket with the rag and wipe down your workstation. So cleaning as you go is very important when it comes to working within a kitchen. Now, I'm pulling each one of these things also into our daily lives. So how is this idea of maintaining a clean and organized area pertain to your daily life, to your life outside of work, to things that don't have to do with actual physical messes? How many of you have had a misunderstanding with somebody? How many of you have gone out and worked with somebody and either they've said something to you or you've said something to them and it took offense or it hurt or it really brought them down and now they can no longer trust you? Okay? They no longer feel like they can trust you. They no longer feel that you truly are their friend, and you will have lost a friendship. You could lose a relationship. I mean, when you're in a relationship with a significant other and you love them, there are many times that we just blurt out something that is very hurtful. And if we don't go back and clean up that mess quickly, that mess can fester. That mess can get worse. It's like making a mess inside of the oven and just letting it cook and cook and cook for 5, 10, 6 days, a month, 2 months before you try and go back and clean it up. And then when you're trying to clean it up, it is a mess. You have to get in there. You have to use the heavy degreaser. You got to shut down service to be able to get into it. You can't do it while service is going on. Okay. So clean up those messes. Take the time that you have to be able to resolve those issues that are going on before that smoke turns into a real bona fide forest fire. Okay? Another thing that I want to talk to you about with maintaining a clean and organized area is not just the relationships around you. And it's not just the environment around you with, the actual cleanliness of your home or your work area, but internally. Are you maintaining a clean and organized body, mind, and spirit? Okay? What are you doing to clean that stuff up? Are you spending time each day to meditate, to think, to be able to be with yourself? Remember, I talked about tasting everything. This is part of it. When you take that time to be present, to really see what's going on around you, that's the time that you can build that spiritual connection that you have with your own self or with a higher being. Okay? But take that time to internalize. think about it. What kind of a person are you? Are your actions actually in alignment with the kind of person that you want to be? And really start to self-reflect about what's going on. Okay? Another aspect of this is the physical part of it. Okay? Are you eating healthy? Yeah, right. Are you actually intentional on the things that you're eating? We as chefs, we're sitting there and we're working all day and we're sitting there piecing, we're tasting everything, and half of it's fatty and sugar, and all this other kind of stuff. It's those rich foods, and that's what we love within the restaurant, is going out to eat and having those rich foods. So as chefs, we are constantly trying that over and over and over. So we are getting maybe not the best food inside of us as we're working. Not only that, but the amount of time that we usually spend sitting down and eating is like zero. How many of you have actually sat down and eaten in the last week? Like actually sat down and eaten. And how many of those times were you over a garbage can shoving food into your mouth? Okay. Are you intentional in the things that you're eating? Are you spending that time to really give your body the things that it needs to be able to perform at the level that you want to be at? Because we all want to be top performers. We all want to be those high performers. We all want to become that executive chef. We all want to, be able to crush it every single service. But if we're not feeding ourselves the food that we need, we won't have the energy to be able to accomplish our vision. Okay. Are you getting the exercise that you need? Yes, we're on our feet all the time. Yes, we're lifting heavy boxes. We're moving things around. I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day, one of the servers, okay? And he was like, yeah, I just pulled like a 14-hour shift. And, it was just constant. It was just there the entire day. He's like, yeah, I walked 35,000 steps that day. 35,000 steps. Can you imagine that? And you think, if you're working that much, if you're walking that much, do you really need the exercise? And the answer is really yes. Because what I've found is that we do really well with walking, okay? And we can walk around and we can walk for miles because we're always on our feet. But do we have the endurance when our heart rate starts to go up? Like, if you had to play like a soccer game, how well would you do? Like, would you have the energy to make it through an entire soccer game? Probably not, unless you're actually actively trying to build up that endurance. Okay? Would you be able to go on a 20-mile bike ride? I don't know. Would you be able to hike up a mountain? Maybe not. So, do you have that endurance? Are you pushing your own body beyond its typical limits? And if you are, like, I've known chefs that have constantly had 2 jobs. And there was one guy I'm thinking of in particular. His name is Wicho, and he is the most excitable guy that I've ever met. Okay, this guy just has fun. This guy is working consistently 2 full-time jobs. What he does is he schedules the time between the 2 jobs to be able to go to the gym in between. And he'll go to the gym and he'll pump iron and he'll push himself and then go home quick, take a shower, and get to the next shift. And when I was first learning about this guy, I'm like, how in the world can you do that? Because at that time, I wasn't taking care of myself. And I would go through an 8-hour shift, and by the end of that 8-hour shift, I was done. I was exhausted. I just wanted to go home. But here's this guy who'd wake up a little bit earlier than I would, work 8 hours, then go work out, and then come back and work another 8 hours, and then go home and sleep. And every single day he'd show up and he's like this jovial guy and he's just having a lot of fun. Like, how do you do that? When I started to really understand what was going on was that exercise in between, that pushing his body, pushing his limits, and really building up the adrenaline, building up that dopamine as he's working out, that just helped his body to be even more able to deal with the grind that is the working in the kitchens. He was able to work 2 jobs, and at the end of the shift, he was having a blast, man. And at the end of his like 16 hours of working, he was having a blast, and he was joking around and everything like that. And then he'd go home, and he'd be able to just relax and go to sleep. And the next day, the same thing, over and over and over. You know, yes, of course, he kind of scheduled it so that he wasn't working doubles all the time, but he was still working doubles 3 days a week, and we're working every single day during the week. So, what are the things that you're doing for yourself? Now, again, we talked about something you eat, the exercise, and I just mentioned the sleep. Are you getting enough sleep? Is that sleep actually restful? Remember, so yesterday I was talking about taking those breaks and releasing that stress. If you're able to do that, start to do that more often. Start to do it more during your shifts. And then pay attention to how much better you end up sleeping at the end of the night. Because if you're able to do those things, if you're able to take those breaks and release the stress, pump yourself up again, go back out there, come back, release the stress, go home, you're going to end up sleeping better. If you're eating right, your body's not going to be sitting there trying to digest all of that crap while you're sleeping. Okay? And just try and maintain, as much as you can, a consistent sleep schedule. Yes, if you work in the evenings, some days you get off at 9 o'clock at night. Some days you get off at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's sometimes very difficult to figure out to kind of maintain a consistent sleep schedule. But do what you can, okay? Eat right, exercise, take those breaks so that you can sleep better, okay? The last thing I wanted to talk about with this is kind of continuing on with that original, with that conflict resolution, okay? One of the things that you need to do is you need to create those boundaries. You need to say, okay, this is what I'm going to accept. This is what I'm not going to accept when it comes to the way that people interact with you. You need to start to build those boundaries, and you need to make sure that people understand what those boundaries are. And it's not so much that, like, don't talk to me, like, I don't like you, don't talk to me. Those kind of boundaries. It's more of like the ways that they're going to talk to you. Okay. And as you're creating these boundaries, as you're creating these rules for interactions, as you're creating these boundaries for yourself in, let's say, like the hours that you're going to work, or creating those boundaries in other areas of your life, you also need to start to build that empathy for other people's boundaries and that respect for other people's boundaries. Okay? Like, some people, when they get off of work, they don't want to hear anything about work. And that's the boundary. And you need to be able to respect that boundary. Make sure that you understand what that boundary is and respect theirs. Okay? So that's really kind of everything I wanted to talk about today. Maintaining that clean and organized area. Clean as you go. Take care of yourself. Take care of your body. Take care of your spiritual mind. Okay? Eat right. Get your sleep. Take those breaks. Okay? Clean your environment up. Make sure that you are living in an environment that is clean. Take that time to clean up after yourself, because that will help as well to keep that peace in your own life. And then make sure that if there's any misunderstandings, clean those up, take care of them, deal with them right when, soon after they happen, soon after you find out about it. Be humble about it, be respectful, and be empathetic. And if you're able to do that, you are going to have some of the best friends in the world. You will be able to begin to, people will come to you because they will respect you. People will want to be your friend. So it kind of leads into the next section. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about surrounding yourself with support. Who are the people around you that help you grow, that help you develop? Who are the people that you have to be able to be the best that you can be? So tomorrow, same time, please come. I'm so excited that you are here. I'm so excited that you've made it this far. Continue to work on it. What can you do today to start to clean up your area? Are you going to work on your exercise? Are you going to work on your personal things? Are you going to work on something that has to do with your relationships? Or are you going to focus a little bit more on how to maintain that clean and organized area while you're working? Think about that. Make a goal, set it, write it down, tell other people, hey, I'm going to work on this. I challenge you to start working on at least one aspect of this so that you can grow and develop and become the best chef out there. Become that inspirational leader that I know that you are. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're watching this tells me that you will become an inspirational leader. Just keep on going at it. You're awesome, and I really appreciate everything you've done.